Hello, hello. It is the start of a new week and it is time to introduce weekly vlog number 3. I can't believe I nearly forgot what week we're on already and we're only on week 3. Also, wow, the new TV is bright. You can see it in my glasses. Came down in the morning yesterday, went to turn the TV on and nothing happened. And I was like, oh, the batteries have gone dead in the remote, that's fine, changed them over. Still nothing. I tried 6 different combos of batteries, nothing. So I was like, fine, that's not a problem. If the remote's gone, we can manually turn the TV on today. Yeah, my gran bought a TV that didn't have any external buttons on it. And even after I've just taken it apart and looked at it, there is no way of turning the TV on manually. I know from experience, even if we now got a replacement remote, there is no way we are turning that TV on to program the remote, and it's not going to just work automatically. And it would have cost a stupid amount of money to buy the exact same remote for that TV because it's like a 9-10-year-old TV by now. So we went from our little 32-inch standard definition to this. It's big. It's big. It doesn't look too big there, but when you're in the room with it, it is freaking huge. We've upgraded to a 40-inch and it's got like ultra definition HD, and of course the very first thing I've done is put Genshin Impact on, and I'm like, holy crap, I can read the screen, I can see the map. I'm happy. Now the problem that I've got is it's so super bright, I'm like, ow, my head. So I might have to turn the brightness down a little bit. But anyway, that's completely unrelated to books. Anyway, in terms of reading for this week, we have Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I really want to get progress on that. We have Priory of the Orange Tree. I'm way behind on the buddy read. I think I'm just not really into it at the moment, and I'm going to try and put more focus on that at some point this week. Captive Prince, I'm very near the end. I think I'll probably get that finished today. And I also want to get either finished or most of the way through Woven in Moonlight on my reread. Definitely need to just get a few more finished because we're 16 days into January and I've finished 2 books so far. But I do have like 6 on the go and they're all kind of at least halfway. Not all, but most of them are about halfway through. So I should be able to finish the month on about 6 or 7 books, which is about my average anyway. So yeah, as long as I get at least 1 book a month finished, I don't really care that much. But yeah, it is going to be difficult today though not to just play games. So I'm going to get on, go do that. I have a massive, like my jumbo cup of tea because I needed a lot of tea to wake up today. I was like, I need wake up juice, and even though tea doesn't really wake me up, it's better than nothing. I've also decided on my February theme for my bullet journal, and it's the Chinese New Year and it's the year of the rabbit. And I didn't want to be so on the nose that, I did Chinese New Year theme, but instead I've done a rabbit theme, so it's a nod to the Chinese New Year and it's little rabbits. So I'm going to be working on that today. And yeah, those are basically my weekly plans. Anyway, I'm going to get on, play some video games for a little bit, wake myself up a little bit more, and then hopefully go out and do some work. And of course, typically this week is due to be a massive cold snap again, and we're due to go back down into the minuses right as I need to be working. That's just ace. So yeah. Right, I'm going to go. Hope you have a great week, and I'll speak to you all soon. I spent money I shouldn't have, and now I feel a bit bad. So I've been paid from Etsy, finally. They've started paying me the orders that went through at like start of December. They're finally paying me those orders. And I was like, right, okay. So I ordered Domino's, which I am kind of regretting. I always forget that Domino's does make me feel a bit sick, and yet I still buy it. So I bought myself a Domino's pizza, and I had about 20 quid left over. I finally decided to check out. I didn't realise it's no longer World of Books, it's now just WOB. And I'm like, that's the worst name ever. But I went on there and they have a buy three, get a fourth free sale on. And I was like, oh, okay. So I now have books on order that came to £11, and one of them is a hardback. So I am amazed. And it's free postage. You can pay £3 for postage if you want to get it sooner, but I'm not really bothered. However, they probably won't arrive until next week. So I've technically spent money I shouldn't have, but at the same time, I am treating these as like little birthday bonuses to myself because, you know, last year was a rough year and this Christmas was the first Christmas being single in years, and I was okay, but there were moments where it was like, and then this birthday was again, I wasn't feeling very well for it, and you know, I just wanted to give myself a little bit of a pick me up. So yeah, I have ordered myself some books. I think it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? I am sure it's Wednesday. Yes, it is, because Genshin. So ignore the fact that my game is downloading in the background. New version released last night. But apart from the fact I look extraordinarily tired because I fell asleep at gone 5 o'clock this morning. I was lying in bed from about 2, ready to sleep, and just could not get to sleep. So I ended up reading, and I have finished Captive Prince. And this book has actually really torn me. I wanted to give this 5 stars because I devoured it. I loved the characters. I loved the atmosphere. I loved so much about this. And I say loved, I knew it was going to be dark and rapey, and I knew the sort of thing. I knew going into this the sorts of things that I was expecting. The only thing is that no one anywhere thought to tell me that it also has themes of paedophilia in here. And that one of the characters, who is a sexualized character, is 13. And that just didn't sit right with me, because I'm like, even though in this universe he's considered to be a man, he's still 13. Like, and there are hints that they start from the age of 10. And I'm just like, no, not. So, unfortunately, on Core Pile, even though atmosphere was 10 because, oh boy, yes, the writing was quite good, the plot was reasonable. Characters I have marked down at a 3 out of 10 because of that. And also logic I have marked very low. So even though everything else were 10s, 9s and 8s, those two numbers where one was a 3 and one was a 4, it has knocked this down to a 3 star. 3.5, I think, it just got the 0.5, which is a shame. But I have been assured by a couple of people who have read the trilogy that in book 2 and 3, that particular character that gives me the problems is not really in it. And they have assured me that the book does not actually glorify and say that it's okay for that kind of thing. And they were like, just keep going with the series. It's not as bad in book 2 and 3, and it focuses way more on the main 2 characters. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as it does, I will continue it, because I did very seriously consider not continuing this series, but I have been persuaded to, especially with how much I did enjoy everything else. But yeah, so 3.5 for Captive Prince. While the Art of Balance, I'm now halfway through that, and I'm finding it a little bit repetitive at times. Ooh. I'm finding it a bit repetitive at times, because she'll make a point and then she makes that same point about 8 different ways in 5 pages, and I'm like, yeah, we get it. Like, it's not always necessary, but I am still picking up a lot of really useful information. A lot of it is stuff that I've heard before, and I am struggling with the fact that certainly on the diet stuff and the nourishment, she started the book off by saying, like, nourishment doesn't just mean food, and then proceeds to spend that entire chapter only talking about food, and was talking very heavily about fibre and including fibre in your diet. And I was like, well, as someone who's on a low GI diet because they have dietary issues, I feel like it's not very inclusive. Like, she doesn't even mention that people might have other dietary restrictions, which does kind of, like, it annoys me a little bit. I know the book is about how this is how the Japanese tend to do things, but you still should make a mention of, you know, this is obviously, if you can. And like, she's talking now about movement, and that even going shopping, walking instead of driving is a way of moving your body. And I'm like, but what if you're disabled? And she doesn't really make any kind of nods to those kind of things. So I feel like it's a little bit ableist, and it just assumes that you can do all these things that she's suggesting. But at the same time, it's a book that I knew it would be about that, so I can still find things to pick out that I can use, and I have still found some interesting bits. And I do love the recipes. It is making me want to try and be more brave with my food. Obviously, I still hate seafood. I will not eat fish, which is going to be great if I do apply to go to Japan, because a lot of their diet is fish based, and I'm like, no. So I've made some progress on that, and then I'm rereading Woven in Moonlight that I read 3 years ago when I got it from Fairy Loot, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm seeing some of the problems this time round though. Last time I struggled to get into it. I think it assumes that you have a basic knowledge of Spanish, because it does include quite a lot of times where the characters start talking in Spanish. And apart from once so far, there's not been any sort of translation. So it's like, oh, I've had to guess or Google Translate what's being said so I can actually follow what's going on. That's a bit annoying. And I think last time I really didn't enjoy that, and I didn't really like the world building. Whereas this time I'm enjoying it a hell of a lot more. But it also, because I now am aware of some of the issues that have been reported with the book, I'm seeing them a lot more. And yeah, the main character is a little bit naive, because she keeps going on about how the Laxtrans took over and like conquered them and kicked them out of their homes. It's like, but you guys did that first, so can you really complain? And you were worse leaders and more tyrant than they were, than they are currently. And yeah, she is annoying me a little bit, but yeah, I really am enjoying it this time round. And I'm trying out yet a different annotation system that I might do an updated annotation video soon, because even since I recorded one about 6 months ago, I've upped again how I do my annotating. So yeah, anyway, that is 10 minutes of me wobbling on, and I think pretty much all of that is going to be in the vlog. So yay! I'm now going to go disappear into this world, Tevat, for the next few hours. It is Thursday, and I'm just going out to the bin, and I am just going to enjoy, because we have this. It is very frosty, very wintry, and I don't think we're going to get many more days like this, to be honest. So I'm just... it's nice and white and frosty, and I love it. I love winter, it's my favourite season. Updates. I finished an audiobook that I've been reading for 6 months. Hang on. Bin's frozen shut. But as you all know, I've been making my way through and loving The Greatcoats by Sebastian de Castell. And unfortunately, the third book, I just got so fed up with Falkio and his whining and his whinging, and yeah, it just really annoyed me. And so I kind of put the book on hold back in August, September, and then I hadn't picked it back up again, and I still had like 7 or 8 hours left. So I put it on a slightly faster speed than I normally would last night, and I basically did an all-nighter last night because my insomnia has been getting a bit crazy again. And I have discovered over the years that one of the best things that helps my insomnia is to have one night where I just don't go to bed. And then usually I will get to about anything between 11 in the morning and about 3 in the afternoon, and then I crash out and I will sleep for about 15, 16 hours on and off. And then it usually, not all the time, but generally it does help me to reset. So fingers crossed it will reset. But because I did the all-nighter, I just basically played Genshin Impact and put that on and just listened to that and finished it. So I have given it 4.5 stars, despite the fact that there was a 6-month gap between reading it, because the characters are amazing. The atmosphere of this book, I laugh, I cry. I think a large part of it is Joe Jameson's audio narration. He is just so incredible and so talented. Like, there was one bit where it was like Aline, who is a 14-year-old girl, was saying something and crying or something, and I genuinely thought it was a 14-year-old girl speaking, and then I was like, wait, no, this is Joe Jameson. And he plays like every single character, and some voice actors, like, you can tell they're struggling to put certain voices, but with him it's so easy to forget that that's one person voicing all of these characters. It's insane. He is so talented, and I definitely think if I was just reading these books, I might have potentially even DNF'd the series by now. But his narration is just that good that it's just like, wow. Because of that, I think I found that with audiobooks, I struggle to listen to them, and I don't pick them up very often. But when I do, I think I rate books generally a lot higher when I listen to them on audio, because you get more of the emotion, and it's like having a film playing, you know, it just comes through better. Not all the time, but a lot of the time it does. There's also an arc that I'm reading that I think is amazing so far, and I think if it carries on the way it currently is, it's going to end up on the Women's Prize shortlist next year, possibly even winning it. But it's a HarperCollins book, and at the moment I'm not actively discussing HarperCollins books on this channel because of the strikes. If you don't know what's going on with those, please go and look it up. There's a lot going on, but it's a shame because I really, really want to scream about this one, and I want to talk about it, and I want to share it. So that's a bit of a shame. But I am making my way through that. And then, as you know from yesterday's update, Genshin updated. So I basically spent the entire night playing Genshin Impact on the new patch. And how is it I look less tired today when I've had no sleep than I do on the clips when I have had plenty of sleep? Maybe it's because my entire face has gone swollen and puffy rather than just my eyes. But yeah, so basically today I'm just staying up now. It's 9 o'clock now. I am watching reading sprints, and it's cool because normally with the Australian guys, when they go online, I'm in bed asleep. So I generally miss them, or they're wrapping up just as I'm waking up. But reading with Merb, I'm watching hers now, and I've been on since she started at 6, and it's quite funny. Normally when people spend more time talking than sprinting, I get annoyed, but on these sprints it's just been great and fun. But I think it's because we've been talking about anime and stuff, so obviously I've been nerding out. But yeah, it's been really cool. So I'm gonna carry on. I might try and do a bit of reading, but my eyes have gone a bit blurry, and I have just made myself a cup of tea just to try. And well, tea makes me sleepy, so. And then I've just waited for the postman. He usually turns up at about 10, 11, but with the snow and things, well, we've not got snow, but with the frost and the icy roads, I reckon probably about 12, 1 o'clock. So if I can stay up until he gets here, that'd be grand. and then I can just kind of go to bed and pass out for a little bit. I'm in danger of waffling, so I'm gonna go, and hopefully I'll have some more updates for you later. Maybe that, or I'm just gonna be unconscious for the next 2 days. Who knows? It's much later on Thursday. I ended up going to bed at about 11:30 in the morning. I slept until 3:30. So I had about 4.5, maybe 5 hours sleep. And then I made myself get up, had some food. It's now nearly 9 o'clock and I am absolutely exhausted. I have read 70 pages of the arc that I was sent by HarperCollins, and I wish it was a crap book. I wish I didn't have so much I want to talk about because I don't want to promote it. But yeah, I read 70 pages of that, and I've read another 20 pages of the backup plan, and so that is my priority tomorrow. What even is that? Is to get that finished. Let's see how long I sleep tonight. We have book mail. I have books. Books. So I decided to treat myself, as I said, and they just arrived, and I'm really excited. And I've just washed my hair, so everything's all crazy, but who cares? Because we have books. So let's get into it. Some of them have come in this, and then one's come in this. It's quite a chunky. Let's go for the chunky book. Actually really excited. I'm showing off my full address to everybody. I mean, I don't think a serial killer's going to come to my house, but you never know. Oh my god, that is just chunky and fluffy. Holy crap, I did not expect that to be that big. That's what she said. So, Dark Rise, C.S. Picat. That's chunky. I didn't expect that for a paperback. And it's reasonably small writing. Okay! Then we have the big bag, of which there should be 3. 2 are hardback. What? I only thought one of these was going to be a hardback. Oh, it's so beautiful! Oh my god, that's even prettier than the first book. So we have book 2 in Midnight's Twins by Holly Race. Spellslinger, hardback. These are all in very good condition, considering it said, like, this one, it just said it was in good condition rather than like new. It's perfect. And then finally we have The Beckoning Shadow, which I thought was going to be a paperback. So, and hang on, is this the Fairy Loot edition or something? Because it's got a signed book plate for $3.50. Signed book plate edition of a book. So 2 hardbacks and 2 paperbacks, 11 quid, including postage. Thank you for putting your tail in the way, cat. Move. She found the elastic bands. So yeah, 4 books, 11 quid. Wow. Can't complain. Books. Also, Ginty found the elastic bands and is now like playing with them behind. Where are you going with that? She's just walked off with an elastic band. But yeah, books. Just putting now though that I hate my sofa because it sits at a weird angle, so it makes my laptop just like slide off it all the time, and it's really annoying. I probably should mute that for a minute. I started off with the intentions of working today and ended up playing video games. So my plan yesterday worked. Obviously, yesterday I said that I was doing an all-nighter, and I did. I managed to stay up till 11 in the morning. I then slept till 3 in the afternoon, got myself up, watched a bit of TV, had some dinner, and then I fell asleep again about 11 o'clock last night, slept through till 8:30 this morning. I could have probably done with a couple more hours, but it's fine. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling less headachy, I'm a bit more hungry, so it seems to have worked. So that means that I'll probably have about a week of decent sleeping, and then give it another 3-4 weeks and my insomnia will be back. Currently watching Reading Sprints by Bookishly Michelle. She hasn't been online in forever. Like, she uploads videos regularly and she does read, but she hasn't done her reading sprints for a while. So I was just on YouTube, saw that she was live, and I was like, ooh, okay. And yeah, I'm just gradually like ploughing my way through a few books now. And hopefully by the end of January, I'll have about 8 done. One of my ebooks I will get done today because that's being reviewed tomorrow. I need to write my review today. So yeah, things are going well. I also have a beef casserole on in the slow cooker. But anyway, I am gonna go get on with some reading. I'll give you some decent updates later, hopefully. Glasses. Glasses would be a good idea so I can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Haha. Sunday, reading updates. We have Wow, the Art of Balance on my Kindle thingy, this whatever. Yeah, Kindle, got it right. I am now, I think 55-60% through, 57% through, and I really enjoyed it for the first like 10%. I thought it was fantastic. Then it just got very repetitive and boring, and now I'm like, it has interesting bits, but everything in between those interesting bits is literally just her repeating the same sort of thing over and over and over again, and I'm just like, cool, well, you've now told me this exact same thing 6 different ways, I'm now bored. And it's not quite having the effect that I was wanting, so I've got a feeling this is going to be about a 3-star. Woven in Moonlight, I am now 60, I think 55-60% of the way through. And like I said, I'm actually really enjoying this reread. It's been 3 years since I read it the first time, because it was January 2020 that I read it, so I am definitely enjoying it this time. And I still love the way that the magic in this, she uses the moon's magic to weave moonlight into her tapestries, and yeah, it's so cute. And we've just got to a part where the magic takes a turn she didn't expect, and it's just so awesome. Priory of the Orange Tree, I hate to say it, I got to page 78. I've put it down and I haven't even remotely wanted to pick it back up again. It just has not interested me in the slightest. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I've read about 30 pages, 40 pages, and I'm starting to enjoy that now that she's actually like where she needs to be and is actually like learning the stuff she needs to be learning. It's getting quite good, and the one-to-one time with the prince, like, I'm enjoying that now. And then Wayward, which is an arc that was sent to me by HarperCollins. I haven't really talked about it. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I was assured recently, I can't remember where it was or who it was that said it, but I was avoiding talking about HarperCollins because of the strike, but I've been told that a lot of the authors and even the union themselves have said that they're happy for you to talk about HarperCollins books as long as you do talk about the strike and leave links to how people can help and support the strike. So yeah, I will leave all the relevant links below if you want to go check that out, and please do support it, please do, because obviously HarperCollins are screwing people over and it's not good. But I do have an arc of Wayward by Amelia Hart, and honestly this book, I put it down and I immediately want to pick it back up again, and it's not typically my kind of thing. We've got 3 generations of women that are all suffering from the control of men in one way or another. And then the final book update I've got is The Backup Plan by, not Heidi Swain, Jill Shalvis. I did my review of it yesterday because I was on the blog tour, and so I posted about it and I've done my review. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the characters. I loved the romance. And I liked that even though this was technically a romance, I liked that the majority of the book actually focused more on the idea of rebuilding and recovering from grief and facing past traumas and healing and things like that. And I just, it was a really lovely story. So yeah, really solid 4 stars. I finished an audiobook this week. I finished Saint's Blood by Sebastian de Castell, book 3 in the Greatcoat series. And like I said in, I think, an earlier clip, I'd stopped listening to it and then I had like a 6-month break from it, but now I'm back and loving it, and it was amazing, and it always ends making me really desperate for the next book. So yeah, just got the final book to go now and I'm scared. And yeah, then today's plans, I want to record a video that I was inspired to do by the Reading Rain, go check them out. And we were talking about books that we hauled, and they were saying that they hauled about 200 books last year. And I was like, wow, that's so many. And then when I stopped and thought about it, I was like, well, Yauk alone, I bought 15 books home. And I've done like multiple charity shop trips, and I did buy quite a few last year. So I'm now thinking I'm going to go through all of my shelves, my Kindle, everything, and actually check out what books how many books I actually hauled last year. So that could be fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna get on, do that, try and wake up for a bit. Had a lovely surprise this morning. Got nice frost and snowy things, and it's proper winter. So yeah, winter is my favourite season, always has been, but only when it's proper winter, like snow and frost and icy and like 2 degrees. And is that a lump in my wall? Yes, there is a random lump in my wall. Okay, I haven't really talked about this book because, like I said earlier today, I'd kind of avoided it because of the whole strike thing going on. However, now that I feel okay to talk, I need to talk about Wayward. I'm at just over 50%. I'm about 55% through. And I need to talk about this book. Look, I've got all of these tabs in here, and I don't normally tab, or I normally, highlight. But as soon as I finish this, it's going to Shah from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books, so I didn't really want to send it to her full of highlights and notes. This currently is the first 5-star of 2022 and is currently the book of the month. But obviously, we're only on the 22nd, still got 9 days to go. This is a generational story that follows 3 women from the same bloodline. They are all Waywards, and that's why it's spelt slightly different, because this is a surname and a family name rather than the word wayward, which means, to go astray and to be doing your own thing. And the bit on the back says, they tried to cage us, but a wayward woman belongs to the wild. We cannot be tamed. And then it's three: Kate, Violet, Alpha, three wayward women, a secret that could free them or destroy them. And it's just like, this is what the hardback will look like, and that's the cover that I saw that I liked. Like I said, I'm only halfway through and it's enthralled me. I've almost hit a point now where I don't want to stop reading. We start with Alpha, who has just been arrested and is now on trial in 19, who is on trial for witchery and witchcraft. We then have Kate in 2019, who is escaping a very abusive and narcissistic relationship, and she also is pregnant. And then we have Violet in 1942, who is the daughter of a woman who was insane or seen by the locals as insane. She's seen as a wild child. She's not very ladylike, but she is also repressed from being allowed to do the same things as her brother. Like, she's not allowed to study the same subject. She's not allowed to do a lot of what he can do. And this book explores all three of these women and what led to them to be in the situations that they're in now. But it also has this thread of magic weaved in. They all have these strange affinities to things. So for Alpha, it's healing and crows and birds. For Violet, it's insects in particular. It's just such a way of writing, and the metaphor is just so subtle, and I'm really loving the writing in this. Every single character has just got a very clear, distinct voice. All of the elements are weaving together beautifully, and I'm reading like 20-30 pages at a time, and I'm not even realising that I'm reading 20-30 pages. I'm just really thoroughly enjoying it, and I didn't expect to. And I don't normally like generational stories. I don't normally like stories where it's different perspectives, but it's done very subtly, but very well. And yeah, I could probably gush about this book for forever, but it's due out in February, and I will be doing a full sort of 10-minute review on this. I'm already nearly at 7 minutes, but yeah, this is so good. I'm loving it. And yeah, it's going to be done. If not today, probably tomorrow it will be finished. So you guys are making me cry. I thought I'd go onto my YouTube studio and check and see comments, thinking, it's not going to be too bad. It's going to be a few comments. But so many people commented on the life update, and it's making me cry. Oh, for God's sake. Stop. You guys, you're so sweet. There's like lots of love and lots of support and things like that, and genuinely the past year, the people I've met through Book Talk have just changed my life so much for the better. Like, it's through all of you guys that I've had the strength to pick myself back up. And I've had people say, oh no, it's not us, it's you. And it's like, please stop saying that. Like, yes, obviously I have to physically pick myself up, but if I didn't have people to pick myself up for, I might have been in a very different place this year. And yeah, it's just so heartening to see that, so many people have got my back, and like certainly those that have been there since the split and have sort of seen how things have been this past year. And even there were a few of you before, I'm not going to say names, but a couple of you before the split knew that things weren't going great and knew that I wasn't in a great place. And one of you in particular did express concern about my mental health, about even a year before we broke up, and was like, are you sure you guys are okay? And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. So, there's a few of you who've genuinely just given me so much, and everybody has just given me so much to look forward to. I wake up every day now, and the first thing I want to do is see who's messaged me, because I know I'm going to have at least one person. I've got one friend that's in Australia now that we message pretty much every day since we were introduced. So obviously, usually I message them while they're asleep. They message me while I'm asleep. So I always have that message first thing when I wake up. My group that I'm in, the Chloe from Chloe H setup, there's always one or two messages because again we've got people there that are in like America and stuff. So like Ren will message us all during the night, and then I wake up and there's a message there. And it's just wonderful waking up every day and just having this love and this presence on my phone that I'm not used to having, that I've never had before. And it's just like, what? And like with my birthday and stuff, I could feel how genuinely gutted people were for me that I couldn't do my live sprints. And it wasn't just a case of me going, like in previous years I might have been like, oh sorry guys, I can't come online, and it would have been like, oh no worries, well happy birthday. I was getting messages throughout the day, like on WhatsApp and private messages going like, oh just checking in, are you doing all right? And like the next day, like, are you feeling better? And it's just been amazing to have that support. So yeah, this is just gushy, like I can't get over how lucky I am and just how much I just have so much love for everybody and so much gratitude. It's just I can't even. Yeah, I'm gonna go before I start crying again. But thank you. Hi. So this is my final update for the week. So we're on 11 o'clock Sunday night, and like I said, final update. I have my first DNF of the year. I have decided, with kind of a heavy heart, but I have decided to DNF Priory of the Orange Tree, and I know there are going to be people that are probably horrified by that, but there's a few things that factor into it. One, I'm not really a big fan of dragon lore, and even though dragons themselves aren't in the book as often as people might have thought or wanted, they're still like the religion and the world is very heavily based on dragon lore, and I'm just not interested. I have realised I am definitely, for my fantasies, I prefer magic systems. I prefer like war and politics. So Girls of Paper and Fire, Darker Shades of Magic, that kind of fantasy, rather than mythical creatures and unicorns and dragons and things like that. I think it's why I don't always get on with fae books. And if I do, I prefer like dark fae. So I think that's probably why. Partly that. Partly I've definitely worked out I am a character-driven girl. I don't mind world building. In fact, I love world building as long as it's not the main focus of the book, which Priory of the Orange Tree is 90%, well, what I've read of it, it was 90% world building, and we were being introduced to characters, but we didn't really get to spend much time with them and them interacting with each other. And I'm just like, I don't know. And yeah, the writing was fine. Everything was fine, but considering I was about a quarter of the way through the book and nothing had happened, and everyone, like, I had someone go, oh, get to 500 pages, that's when it gets really good. And I'm like, 500 pages is the equivalent of a book and a half of regular standard hardbacks, paperbacks. And this book is 800 pages, which is about 3 to 3.5 standard paperbacks. So I don't really want to force myself to read the equivalent of 3 books when I could just go and read 3 books that I might enjoy a lot more than I'm currently enjoying this. So I have decided to DNF. Maybe I'll get the audiobook and give it a try with audio. Maybe I'll get on better with it. But at this point, I don't think that's likely. So unfortunately, yeah. I hate to say it, but my first DNF of 2023 is Priory of the Orange Tree. And then Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I have read another 2 chapters this evening. I'm actually finding I'm getting through this a lot slower than I expected, but I'm also finding this is suffering very much from typical YA issues that I've got, in that the plot is very convenient. We have random time skips, like she's here to learn about warfare and to learn about
weaponry and archery, and instead of actually spending time with her as she learns these skills and has these lessons, we just get told, oh, several months have passed and I've now grasped everything. And it's like, well, what I'm liking with adult fantasy is they've either already got those skills, or if they're going to learn those skills, we are with them. Like, I'm reading The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks at the minute, and I really like that there's not been any awkward time jumps. Like, we are here from the very start of Azoth? No. Why am I getting Azoth the Defiler? What's that from? No, I'm thinking Azog the Defiler. But the main character in that, we see everything. Like, we learn about his beginning, we see where he goes to, we're with him as he's doing these lessons. And I think that's something that I'm really struggling with YA with, is they just do so many convenient missing out of steps. And it's like, well, those are the moments and the bits that I want to be seeing, because that's how we learn more about the character and we get more development. So yeah, the writing is still beautiful. I've highlighted quite a few lovely quotes in this, and I like a lot of the imagery. But yeah, definitely the plot in this at the moment, not my favourite. And that is all the reading I've done today. Honestly, I've been struggling today with motivation. I've been doing a lot more sort of posting and scrolling and watching videos to catch up. I think I'm suffering a little bit with burnout today. Yesterday I felt quite unwell and I was quite sick, and then today I've struggled to eat because when I've eaten I've then started to feel really unwell again. And I'm feeling very stressed out about a particular thing that I need to get done, and I know I need to get it done, and it's past the deadline and I still haven't done it, and I feel really bad. They've been really lovely about it. I've told them that there's delays and they're like, absolutely no problem. But I'm now putting extra pressure on myself, which is then adding to the stress, which is then making me feel even more unwell. But the plan is tomorrow to just, no matter how I'm feeling, unless I have a full-blown migraine, I will be in that work shed making candles and getting 60 of the buggers done. That has to be done. Anyway, that is something I'll talk more about tomorrow. We are now even more waffly than usual. I know this has been a really, really long vlog. I have posted a poll on my Twitter and my YouTube community, and the general consensus is that people are happy to have a mix of lengths, because I asked if people would rather me keep them to under 30 minutes or keep them around about an hour, or have a mixture of the two. And the majority of the votes so far have settled on a mix, and then the next answer is shorter ones. So my aim in future will be to try and keep them around about the 30-minute to 45-minute mark. But every now and again, like this week, there's been a lot of reading. I've had a lot of updates and I've had a lot of wanted to talk about. And I have tried, when I've been editing it just now, I've really tried to cut out as much repetition as I can. But obviously that can be quite difficult. So I do apologise. I'm always happy for feedback as well below. So if there are certain things that you wished I'd talk a little bit less about, like if you want me to talk less on the books as I'm reading them and maybe just save it for one bigger update when they're finished, or if you want less of like the unboxings and the general day-to-day life and health stuff. But I don't really talk about those on the channel, so that's where I tend to talk about them in the vlog, because that's more of my personal stuff. And for me, the vlogs are more aimed at personal things as well as reading. Anyway, I'm always happy for feedback, so if there's any sort of things you'd rather me speak about less or maybe even talk about more, please do let me know. But for now, I'm going to go. I'll be back next week with hopefully some more reading, and hopefully next week I can complete more than... I think I'm still on my winning streak of doing a book a week, because we're in the 3rd week and I've finished 4 books. So I am currently still on track for that. But according to Storygraph, I'm currently behind already on my Storygraph challenge of 75 books. And I'm like, okay, I've now removed that feature and decided I don't want it to tell me like how many books behind I am or ahead, because that's just already stressing me out and we're only 3 weeks in. So I'm just going to keep away from that for now. But yeah, I'm gonna head off. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. As always, let me know in the comments what you've been reading this week and what you've been loving, and I will speak to you on the next one. I hope you're good. I hope you're staying safe.